Hey everybody, want to introduce you to the brand new JBL BassPro Go. This is the world's first in-car subwoofer and out-of-car portable boombox experience. Let's start with what's in the box. First, you'll see it's a single one-handed connector that plugs into the back of the BassPro Go. Next, for easy installation, we have a ground, a 12-volt power lead that's fused, and a remote turn-on trigger. Next, we have RCA inputs, and then of course the remote bass knob, which comes in the box. Perhaps you're not going to have RCAs on your factory head unit, so we've included an RCA to speaker wire adapter. This plugs into your factory speaker wires and then becomes an unbalanced input for perfect sound. Next, we've got the awesome steel plate quick disconnect piece that mounts in your vehicle to secure the BassPro Go. And then lastly, we have the BassPro Go itself. This is a Bluetooth waterproof IPX5 rated product with a quick disconnect door in the back and all of the subtle controls on top. This thing is a beast. Can't wait for you to hear it. Okay, so now we've taken the power on the ground, we've hooked it up to our quick disconnect to go to our battery, but let's also see what we're doing here. We're going to use one RCA input because in our factory application, we only have a mono single speaker wire to plug into. Next, let's take a look at the way we can preset the controls on the back of the BassPro Go. So let's take a look on the back. First, you'll note I've got a USB charging port so I can charge my phone. But next, we're going to use an audio turn-on function instead of the 12-volt triggered or the DC offset switch. Lastly, we've got a gain over here, and we can select between 2, 4-volt, or 6-volt, depending on what kind of output your RCAs have or your factory system has. In our example, we're going to use 2-volt for our input from the factory system. First thing we're going to do is we're using a quick disconnect power controller so we can do multiple installs in this test vehicle. But then second, you'll see that we're going to use this RCA input. I've already run the speaker wire to the factory location. We'll show you that in just a second. But it's as simple as plugging this in. And now after I've done my power and my ground, I just have to route the wires, and we'll show you how that looks next. Here's how we did the install for the speaker wires. We simply tapped into this factory connector. We figured out which one was positive and negative, and then we just tucked up our wires and ran them down into where the BassPro Go is seamed between the two panels. So as you can see, we've already begun the installation of the plate and the quick disconnect wiring. We've tucked it in this nice little gap here between these two panels. The last thing we have to do is just simply finish mounting the steel mounting plate. And now we are secure, ready to go. Now all that's left to do is plug it in. So we simply turn it around, open up the waterproof door, and the first thing we do is plug in the harness itself. So again, it's a simple connection. Just simply plug it in and then mount it to the plate. And I start by doing that, pull quick handle, bam, locked in place. When we were thinking about how to set up this BassPro Go in the vehicle, we came up with a really cool user interface. And to enter the settings mode, all I do is hit the Bluetooth and the connect button at the same time for 3 seconds. And once I've done this, it enters into the settings mode. So now you heard the confirmation, and the first setting is the dark blue. This is the input level mode. So when I use the up and down arrows, you'll see the LEDs will change. So I can go from low, high 1, and high 2. Since we're using this in an OEM vehicle with an auto signal sense, we're going to use high 1 in this application. Next, we hit the connect button to switch to the next settings mode. In this example, the red means crossover. Our settings are 60, 80, and 100 hertz. Because this vehicle is a factory vehicle without much bass, we're going to go with the 100 hertz setting to really maximize that mid-bass impact. Next, the green function. Green means gain. So we can go all the way down or all the way up, but since we're only using 1/2 of the signal input, we're going to give this probably 4 dots of bass and see how that sets once we turn the audio up in the vehicle later. Next, we go to the orange mode. This is the bass boost. So at 50 hertz, how much boost do we want from the BassPro Go? And you can see I can go down or up, 3 different modes. I'm going to put it in the middle until we understand how it sounds in the vehicle. And then lastly, we have the phase. Phase allows us to flip the bass 180 degrees out of phase, and we've got it set at 0 right now, or 180. Ideally, we'd listen to the vehicle before we pick a final setting, but 0 is always a safe bet. Gotta love the BassPro Go. Great bass for those who are looking to add bass to their factory system or get a little more punch out of their system, but awesome because now I can take the music with me on my next outdoor adventure. So here's a great Easter egg. In this example, of course, we're running the BassPro Go as just a subwoofer, but maybe we want to open the trunk and go to the tailgate. Then we want to run this piece in full range and have all of the music coming out while it's still being charged by the vehicle. If I hold down the connect and the play buttons for 3 seconds, then it switches it into full range mode. So now I'm engaging all of the speakers inside here and you can hear all of the music coming out. Let's see how easy it is to pull the BassPro Go out of the vehicle. So first, I disengage the quick release. Now it's disconnected from the steel plate. I simply push the single connector in the back, close up my door to make it waterproof, and now I'm ready to go. As you can see, we've got the BassPro Go set up at our tailgate here. We're cheering for the Cubbies win today. But what's great about this is, of course, it's a Bluetooth speaker, and I can just jam tunes. It's awesome. But one of the other fun features that we really love about this product is the fact that it also has an extra bass mode. So when I've got it undocked from the vehicle, if I hit the Bluetooth and the connect buttons one more time, I hold them down for 3 seconds, you'll see it switch into this mode, and you'll see the little red light, and now I can adjust how much bass it gives me when it's out of the vehicle. Now, of course, this is going to affect your battery life detrimentally. However, it's going to add the bass to the party. So as I turn it back up, you'll hear how much more bass we've got. Awesome. All right, let's face it. There's only one thing that could make this whole BassPro Go tailgate experience better, and that is a second BassPro Go. Let me show you one of my favorite features. So when your buddy shows up to the tailgate and you're both rocking a BassPro Go, you pop them out of your trunk. Check this out. I hit the connect button here, and then the connect button here, and through the magic of JBL science, they magically connect to each other, and now I've got 2 BassPro Go's playing the same music, which is just awesome!